Welcome to Vintage Burn. This is Daddy Kev.
Big Marco.
Clicky Marco. And Doug.
Happy New Year to everybody. It is 2022. We're still somewhat in a pandemic, but we are really hoping for a great year. And first and foremost, I just want to take a moment and thank everybody who has listened to the podcast. Just to go over a couple of statistics here from the last couple of years that me and the guys have been doing this podcast. We've had over 3,232 downloads, and we've had people from countries like Germany and Sweden and Norway and Spain and Ireland and Scotland in the UK listening to us. And honestly, it is more than I think we could ask for. We never pictured that we would even have 10 downloads. So once again, thank you guys so much for listening, whoever's out there. We really, 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 really appreciate you guys giving us a chance.
Whoop, whoop.
100%. You know, especially now where I swear podcasts are more relevant than ever just because there's so much alone time, it seems now. Like even after all the shutdowns, which I swear we're like a step or two away from again. You know, I hate to say that, and people aren't going to stand for it, and that's a whole nother podcast in itself. But, you know, people have had a lot of downtime the past year, 2 years, even a couple months since COVID's been raging again. So we do appreciate everybody who's kind of dicked around on the different platforms and kind of poked on and downloaded a few.
For sure, man. There have been a lot of artists that have made podcasts, for sure. You've seen a lot of people coming out. I'm even listening to one, I think it's called Stoke the Fire. It's Jesse Leach from Killswitch and some English dude that's been in a bunch of bands. He like travels around and is kind of like like a studio musician on the road. So that's just one example. And I know there's a million out there, man. Everybody has a podcast, and that all started definitely during the pandemic. So
yeah, man.
You know, but for us,
you got Robbie Flynn from Machine Head. He's got one.
Yeah.
And then you got the New York Hardcore Chronicles, which is my personal favorite.
There you go.
I listen to that one all the time. Big ups to Drew Stone. He'll never listen to this, but big ups.
He's listening now. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Hopefully. That'd be cool. You sent me a signed book for free, which is cool.
There you go.
All right, so he wants to bang. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, I'm a Patreon member of his show for $2 a month, so he sent me a free book. He released a book. It's like a picture flyer book. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, and look, people know we're pretty consistent. We usually do podcasts either bi-weekly or once a month, but I got to just say it, I'm a super proud dad, and my wife and I had a beautiful baby boy in November, and so we took a couple months off to kind of figure our shit out. And now that we got a routine and our son is doing pretty good and growing, can't believe he's going to be 2 months next week already. We're going to get back on track with the podcast and hopefully just get things back to normal and resume either bi-weekly, twice a month is really the goal here. So we're going to try to do this metal podcast where we talk about albums that we love from a specific year and do our horror movie reviews that we do. But I think collectively, we all really like the metal side of it too. So maybe we might even do a lot more metal this year. You never know. I don't think we're going to hold ourselves to like what we don't have to do a movie review every month. If we want to do 2 metal podcasts, we can just do whatever we want. I think we'll feel it out.
Yeah, man. I like that idea. Just play it by ear.
All right. Well, let's get into it. So I know Marco's antsy. We'll let Marco start. We are doing our top 3 albums from 1985. So Marco, why don't you kick it off with your first?
All right, where did it go? Oh, there it is. All right, so I'm going to start off with a banger. Probably one of the most influential bands in the metal genre. They influenced a lot of people. From Switzerland, one of 2 bands that I really know of from Switzerland.
Ooh.
The name of the album is The Great Beast in Greek, but also known as Megatherion, Celtic Frost.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome record. Without them, we wouldn't have Obituary Sound, as featured Circle of the Tyrants on the album. It's the guitar tone's unbelievable. The songwriting's unbelievable. Everything about it, man. Tom G. Warrior, his vocals. I just love his delivery. Martin Ain, R.I.P., the bass master. Even though he only participated on 2 songs on this album, I don't know why. He was on the albums before and after, but this one he only did the bass on 2 songs. But anyway, it's just a fucking, classic. What can I say?
Yeah, Opeth do a cover of Circles, too. A lot of bands.
Oh, do they really?
Do they really?
I didn't know. I gotta listen to it.
Yeah, man. Back in the day, man. Back in the 90s, they have a pretty good cover of it. That and Remember Tomorrow from Maiden.
Nice. I gotta check that out, though. I knew they did Remember Tomorrow, but I didn't know they did Circle of the Tyrants, which is sick. But yeah, the Usurper, fucking excellent song. Like the 3 in a row, man. It's the Usurper, Jewel Throne, and Dawn of Megiddo, or whatever. Those 3 songs right in a row, probably, I don't know. It's just one of those good three hits, man. Just hits you 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's just fantastic, man. What anybody else got anything?
It's kind of like their trilogy, like those 3 that you can't hear one without the other, or it doesn't feel right.
Right. That's how I feel with those songs. I mean, and the rest of the album's just sick, but I mean, just those 3 songs in a row, I think I don't know, it's one of the best 3 combos. I listen to it constantly. And I can't believe I forgot about this album until like an hour ago.
Artwork, too.
I was surprised. Oh, yeah. Dude, classic artwork. With fucking this demon dude kind of using Christ as like a slingshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, amazing. So Marco, fun fact, don't you have a noise record from the same year, 1985, with one side 2 Megatherion and the other side Halloween Walls of Jericho?
Correct, yeah. It was actually Walls of Jericho that I bought, and I think it's side A is Walls of Jericho, and side B is side A of To Megatherion. So I don't know if it's a bootleg or a misprint or whatever, but I can't find any information on it. I was actually talking about this with somebody the other day.
I think it might be a misprint, man. Like I was talking to my buddy, or mine and Kevin's buddy from Watchmaker, our buddy Brian, and once he found out about that, he's like, dude, I want to own this so fucking bad. And he's like, what's his price? I'm like, I don't know if he has a price. I don't know if he does or he doesn't. But it's just like especially for like a early thrash fan, an early noise records fan, that's such a cool piece to have. Like bootleg or not, I mean, the record itself, I saw it once in person. It's pretty legit though. Like I have like Onslaught Power from Hell, which came out the same year. Which is a bootleg. We got it when we went to see Bloody, Something Bloody, festival with Dawnbringer and all of them. But dude, you can tell it's like the cover is blurry, like the vinyl doesn't make sense, like the lettering. You could tell it was a boot, and I bought it knowing it was a boot, but yours seems super legit. That's why I think it might be legit fucking like misprint,
It might be, man. I'd like to find info on it. I have looked into it, but again, haven't been able to find anything. I'd like to talk to your buddy about that. That's excellent.
Oh yeah, he's all about it. You know what though? Liz bought me when Kevin and I talked to, oh my God, what's his name? Kevin from Crown the Lost.
Dave Gelke.
Gelke. I couldn't think of his last name. So he wrote a book, basically like the history of noise records, and Liz bought for me for Christmas. My birthday last year. I still haven't got around to listen to things like thicker than a fucking Bible. But I wonder if there's anything in there. Cause he's like noise Paradise number 1, and then just noise records number 1 fan, which covers the whole lot,
Right.
But
That's
I just thought
crazy.
that was cool that you got that. It's kind of, either way, an interesting piece of history, cause same label, right? Walls of Jericho, I mean, Halloween was on noise, right?
Correct. Yeah. They're both on the same label. They both. That's why it makes sense that it could be definitely a misprint. And they came out the same year, so who knows?
Yeah, same year, same label.
Pretty nutty.
Dude, I think you got a gem there. It's just for the right person, I think that would be worth a pretty penny. But it's just kind of like doing the legwork, proving it, and then finding who would want it. But like I said, the one person I had talked about it to was all about it. So there's something there, man.
Speaking of, man, Walls of Jericho, I really like the album, but I just can't get Kai Hansen's vocals. For whatever reason, his vocals bother me.
I think that's a Halloween problem.
Yeah.
In general. with him or Kiske. I don't like either of them. So
I know,
but I do like Walls of Jericho. Just the music is fantastic.
Right, the
It's
music's
excellent.
unbelievable. Can we just get a instrumental version, please? Is that
Dude,
possible?
come on, at least Ride the Sky I don't mind his vocals on, or fucking Murderer, but I think that wasn't even originally... Me and Marco talk about this all the time. I don't think Murderer was originally on the original Walls of Jericho, right? It was kind
No,
of later.
it's on their EP or whatever. I forget the name of the EP, but there's an EP. That's what it's on.
Yeah, so whatever version I had Murderer, so I'm like, all right, fuck, like between those two alone, it's worth...
Yeah.
So he went on to sing for some other... Was it Gamma Ray?
I don't know. I don't listen to that shit. So
That shit. I don't either, but I remember seeing like Gamma Ray doing a cover of I Want Out, which I do love. I Want Out. That's another great fucking Halloween song. And I'm like, I didn't put two and two together.
Keys. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't put two and two together until I heard like Gamma Ray doing it live. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And then you start going down the rabbit hole and, you end up with some weird facts.
Mm-hmm. And I know the cover was mentioned back to Celtic Frost for a second, but I just want to shout out just in case it wasn't mentioned, done by the late great H.R. Geiger.
Yeah.
And who's done many, many other covers, was we talked about on our when we did an album cover show. Yeah. Just so rest in peace to that dude. That dude was awesome. He did this, the Alien, created the Alien, and very many cock-like art designs.
So many cocks.
Yeah,
So there was the year me and Marco went to Maryland Death Fest in Triptychon. Tom G. Warrior's other band was supposed to play, and they didn't play because Geiger had just passed away, and he, them two actually got. He wasn't just like an artist who did his, artwork and shit. Like they were friends, like they were like buddies, So he had to skip that year, did his shit, which I totally respect. Came back next year and then killed it, So. Props to him for keeping his word,
Yep. All right.
All right, Kev.
Who's next, bro?
You want to go next, Kev?
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, I mean, I don't have to say much about this band. 1985's Killing Is My Business, and Business is Good, baby. Who doesn't like tinfoil shades on a skull with condiments in the background? I mean, for $8,000, what did you expect for a cover from this band for their first? Dave came out hot and heavy, pissed off from being fired from Metallica, and the rest is history. Here we are. What an amazing record. I mean, it's in my top 5 favorite albums. Some people just forget about this record, and I don't know how. Maybe it's the sound quality, but I mean, they've done such a great job remastering this album like 50 times. I think the latest one they've done, even with the cover update, they did like somebody created an actual skull with the crossbones and everything as Dave wanted it. It's just great 3D print that they made, and the last updated record is phenomenal. So I mean, for me, come on, standout tracks like Rattlehead, Skull Beneath the Skin. I mean, seriously, Looking Down the Cross, what? And Mechanics,
dude,
the original,
excellent record.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, dude: if they didn't spend half the budgets on drugs and alcohol, it could have sounded a lot better. I mean, they ended up producing it themselves because they couldn't afford the producer.
And I still think it came out amazing. I still think.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was jazz, bro. Like that.
Yeah.
They elevated the game. Even though the sound quality wasn't there, and that's why, like, with something like Peace Sells, that was like the total package, especially at the time.
Yep.
But with this, I mean, dude, it was so fast and the riffs were so intricate.
Yep.
And it was just absolutely amazing. Dave Mustaine just showed he was the boss.
Yeah, man. I can't agree more. You could hear the literal progressive thrash metal, like infusing different styles of music within thrash, and that's where it kind of. I feel like this record is the foundation to that.
Absolutely.
Right,
so one thing, I feel the same way about Peace Sells and the cover song they chose. So the Killing Is My Business had a cover of These Boots Were Made for Walking, correct? That was on,
and it's awesome. I mean, it's killer, dude.
But it's fucked up. I like the original version. Oh, who's the cool guy?
No, that was my computer. I was downloading something. I didn't realize it was going to finish in the middle of the podcast.
You
Go ahead.
can watch your porn after.
I just finished in the middle of the podcast too. Anyway, what was I going to say? So I remember buying the one of the like earlier like remasters that Kevin was talking about, and I remember like I don't know if it was like copyright bullshit, but the whole like 95% of the song was like bleeped out with like Dave like kind of singing / talking, and I never understood that never understood why. I don't know if you guys knew.
Yeah,
if there was a story.
That's called shitty record labels making shitty decisions. That's all it is, man.
Yeah.
Now, if you get this latest version, you get the actual explicit version of it. You don't get the bullshit version. And I agree. They've ruined it for years.
Because they bleeped out shit that wasn't even swears. It was just like lyrics. I'm just
no,
like, all right.
They bleeped out the lyrics. Yeah, that was a reissue though. That wasn't even the original version either. That was a reissue.
That's what I'm saying. That was like the first. Because I remember listening to the original one on the tape I had, and then when I bought the reissue, I was pumped about it. And I remember my ex at the time was really into like more rock at the time and loved that song, and I was excited, like we can share this together. And then fucking I heard it, and it was beep 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 beep, like the whole song was. Like, sounded like it was in Morse code. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'd like to say it was like the 2002. I'm looking up all the editions.
It was the first one they did with, like, the good, like, the cool cover with, like, the black with the, like, the blades almost and, like, the skull. It was the first.
Yeah. And the bones and the chains on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the drawing.
Yeah, I think it was the 2002 edition because I remember buying that at the time and being pissed. Oh, as well, because I know the original had it, because I had the original at one point in time on cassette.
Yeah, same. That's why I'm like, why would it be any different? But like Kevin said, shitty record labels and copyright bullshit and whatever down the line.
That's all it was. But now you can get it, and it's clear. So clear and explicit like it should be. So yeah, man. What about you, Doug? What's your number one?
All right. One last thing before we move on: Mechanics or Four Horsemen?
Four Horsemen.
Kevin?
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, lyrically, Four Horsemen, musically, Mechanics.
All right, I agree with you, Kevin, because lyrically, Mechanics is fucking. It's a sexual innuendo. There's no doubt about that. Like,
right.
Imagine in my station, pistons melting, barons melting from the heat. Like, he tried being sexy, but I just don't find Dave Mustaine sexy.
Yeah.
Even if I were a chick, and it's just like you're not a glam band, you know what I mean? You don't have to sing about your sex appeal should just come from your raw energy and talent.
It was very Scorpions at the time. It was very Scorpions.
Is that what it was? It was kind of like
I believe it's very Scorpions. Scorpions were very hot, and I think it was a very Scorpions play on lyrics. I mean, that's Led Zeppelin, want to squeeze you to your lemon, until the lemon drips and yada yada. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I think he was just playing on rock records of his time that he loved. So he could have done better lyrics. There's no doubt. I mean, the guy's a great lyricist, so we all know that. It's but I would just say though, musically, it doesn't even fucking touch Mechanics. I mean, besides we got Metallica playing Sweet Home, not Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, Sweet Home Alabama. Well, I think we talked about that in the 1983 too, because they told Dave to slow it down, like we said, because Mechanics just musically a better song, I think. Yeah. And they told him to slow it down. He's like, all right, what do you want? This, and played that, and they're like, yeah, let's go with that. That sounds good. And that's like it's a known fact that that's basically he just played Sweet Home Alabama, and they said, yeah, let's go with it for like the kind of like little crescendo, not crescendo. What the fuck would you call it? Not a crescendo, but a lull? What would you call that, Kevin? You're the musical expert.
Like a bridge?
Yeah, maybe like a bridge, yeah. So, alright, so moving on. So, my first pick of 1985, hailing from Atlanta, Georgia, released July 12th, 1985. Any guesses, Marco?
Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, and it's not Whiplash yet.
Oh, well, they're not from Atlanta, but it's got to be Hallows Eve. It's
Hallows Eve, yeah. Dude, Tales of Terror, man. And this is in no specific order because the three I chose are three probably of my top 10, so I can't put them in a specific order, so they're at random order. But dude, Hallows Eve, one of those bands, it's them and SOD came out the same year, Speak English or Die, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. They're both kind of credited with being a little bit more, not just straight up thrash, but a little bit more on the crossover side. I hear it more with SOD, but I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot with Hallows Eve as well. It's just
it's weird, man. I hear like straight thrash with them, then I hear like old traditional, then I hear a little crossover. They were a little more mixed bag.
They were mixed, and it's funny. Like what I like to do sometimes, I like to go and Metallum, and say it has like a 87% overall. I like to go and read like the worst of the worst, and then the best of the best, and just to see the range of people's opinions. Because some people are. I did this for this one just because it's one of my favorites, and it's just like IMDb. It's like people absolutely fucking hate it or absolutely love it, and everything in between. So you just gotta take it with a grain of salt and with your own musical taste, But
well, just so you know, I have it set up on Metallum, and the lowest rating on this album is 67%, which isn't too bad.
That's pretty good.
Highest 82,
Yep, that was
nothing in the 90s. But, dude, I'm just gonna tell you now, though, this album's awesome. The only thing I hate about this fucking album is the guy's forearms on the cover. They're the worst, most improportionate forearms I've ever seen in my life. They're like Popeye forearms.
They are. Or Cauldron.
Oh, yeah, but he only has one big forearm.
Oh, yeah, well, after COVID, we all have one big forearm. So
no, I've been switching off daily, so.
Good for you. Like, I got two jacked legs on top of two jacked arms.
Yeah.
No, you're right. The Tales of Terror cover, which they just finally re-released on fucking Metal Blade. You're right.
Man, I clued you in on that one.
You did, and I appreciate that. I gotta pick up the Cancer album you just told me about too. Those are, To the Gory End and, what the fuck?
Death Shall Rise.
Death Shall Rise. Death Shall Rise.
Yeah.
Doug, did we get into Hallows Eve together? Remember when I went through that CD phase and I was buying everything off CD Universe, like all the obscure shit that nobody wanted? Like I bought all the Razors, I bought all the Hallows Eve. I mean, did we do that, or did you get me into Hallows Eve? I can't remember.
Nope. I hate to give you credit, but no, you got me into Hallows Eve too.
That's one of those. Yeah, I just picked up. I remember picking up a CD and I got it and I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. Again, we're fucking old, so I mean, I think we only got a 5 or 10 second clip on CD Universe, and I'm like, yep, good enough for me. Let me order this.
Dude, yeah, remember CD Universe? I still get emails from them every once in a while. I'm like, remember those days?
Yeah.
But dude, there's that little stretch of time, like Hallows Eve, like Evil Dead,
yes.
like the second Flotsam Jetsam, like later, like there was a ton of shit that you got me into that I just passed by, or. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. I appreciate that.
No Place for Disgrace.
Yeah. I kind of snoozed on that one, dude, until Kevin got me, I think he bought a bum copy.
Yeah.
And he sold me his other copy that had like a speck on it. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck, what's the can it learn? No, does it learn? Can it teach? Are you sure it's right? Fuck. What's that? Hard on You. Hard on You is a fucking amazing song. And I know what Kevin was talking about, that Don't Look Up movie. And that's kind of reminds me of like a musical version of that back in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, of the time that like, whoa, it's like kind of relevant, kind of a classic type theme. But, we digress as always. But let me finish this and then we can go on our next tangent. So, yeah, Hallows Eve, they ended up touring with Slayer, Exodus, Nasty Savage, all bands that released debut albums, I believe, this year. I remember hearing Hallows Eve. Do you guys remember River's Edge, the movie?
Yes.
With Dennis Hopper, Keanu Reeves, Christopher Glovin. Dude, they
Christopher Glovin.
Isn't that his name?
Crispin.
Crispin Glover.
Whatever. I legit have it down as Christopher Glover. Alright. I had a few, whatever.
You had a few Chardonnays tonight, yeah?
I did, yeah.
He's the guy who used to bully him. Doug is Biff. But go ahead.
Doug is Biff. So, River's Edge had like Lethal Tendencies and another, I think 2 Hallows Eve and 2 or 3 Slayer. on the soundtrack, and they actually play like in the movie. And I remember like I knew Slayer back then, but I'm like, fuck, who's this other band? And of course, there's no internet then. And I feel like an old fuck saying that. Like this is like the late '90s. I remember like, oh, I wish I knew who that was, and it wasn't in the movie credits. And it's like, so years later, I found out that it was, that's why I got into them so late, even though I did like them. So fun fact, James Murphy did play in Hallows Eve for a little bit, which is cool.
He did.
That is awesome.
Shit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Actually, it's funny because I was just down in Florida. I went to that Death Tribute thing down in Tampa, and James Murphy played for I forget, I told you how many years, but it was like his first stage performance since like, in like 15 years or something like that.
Yeah,
it was like all of spiritual healing, which was fucking awesome.
And he didn't miss a fucking note because he's like a guitar
No,
guy.
he was great. I mean, you could tell he was a little rusty. He was like constantly looking at his neck, and I've seen footage of him in the past where he just like plays.
Oh, yeah.
So you could tell he was a little rusty, but he hit everything. He hit it all.
Man, he's such a fun. He's one of those guitar players that when he plays on an album, from his tone and the way he bends notes and stuff, that is James Murphy playing guitar. I mean, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I hear a James Murphy record, whether it's Obituary or listening to him on Testament.
Cancer, Death Shall Rise. I mean, dude has done so much. I mean, The Gathering is just an amazing album.
Mm.
I love James Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He's my man crush with all gray hair.
Whoa. All right.
Love it. All right. Moving
All
on
right.
to our
It's
second pick,
back-
second round.
Back to me. Hey, listen, I just noticed an album because I was scrolling through 85s while we were talking about that last record. And originally I was going to go with Artillery Fair Tomorrow, so I'm going to make that just a shout out. Fucking awesome album. Bands from Denmark. Check it out. Desperately need to remaster, but it's one of my favorite thrash albums of all time. This year is too fucking hard, but I just noticed this. The band that told you to suck their dicks. They're all about Armageddon, male supremacy,
Holy
Carnivore, Predator.
fuck.
That's right, Carnivore,
there-
man.
Did Carnivore
original-
come out in 85?
It did. It did. And I just noticed it. And dude, there's so many fucking albums this year. And like, I'm ashamed that I have to leave a few out. And this year we could have done 5 each. And I would have been fucking happy with it.
We probably should have. We could always do part 2 and just talk about like the honorable mentions more in detail. I think that could be a whole nother cast.
Yeah, we could do that, man. I mean, like, dude, but from 85 to 87, 88, I mean, it's going to be difficult. But that's my choice, man. I changed my mind. We're going with it, man. God is fucking dead.
Yeah.
And you know what? God, R.I.P. Peter Steele, his anniversary of his death or his birthday was like, what, the other day?
A couple days
Yesterday
ago.
or something? Yeah, something like that. Was it the anniversary of his death or his birthday?
I think his birthday. His birthday, because I think he died in the spring. I remember Kevin texting me when I was on a roof in Brookline, like fucking 9 or 10 years ago. So it had to have been his birthday that I think it was his birthday.
It was January 4th. Today's the 6th, so it was his birthday, yeah. He died, you're right, he did die April 14th, so.
Dude, Marco, thank you for pointing, this one would have slipped right past me, not because I don't love it, because I thought it came out like a little bit later. But you're right.
No.
That was 1985.
Yeah, man, I forgot about that too. That sucks because I'm gonna say this: we may have our number one, but they win with number one song for 85 with Male Supremacy, man. That just hits every fucking emotion. That just hits it. I mean, you got group vocals. Everybody wants to sing along. I mean, it's a great party song. Great party song.
If there's no women.
Yeah.
But they love the singing part though, dude. Kind of like that song alone was a precursor to like Typo Negative, dude, with his. Like harmonies, just like his
absolutely
his harmonies alone, dude. That was like you could tell. They put out. That was their first album, right?
Look,
Retaliation came out after.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of, we were talking about Megadeth creating progressive thrash. I mean, look at even on God Is Dead, dude. It goes into I forget what style of music that would be considered, but probably Latin. But when they go into that that section, man. I mean, it's got a total Latin vibe to it. That's not even fucking metal,
There's like Morocco's, isn't there? If I'm not,
dude, it's total. It's totally out there. It's completely out there and shouldn't have fit in the song as well as it did, and he did it. And then he's got the slow interludes and stuff, and then it gets. I mean, there are so many parts in that band. They were way ahead of their time in 1985, and I don't know. I feel like I wish that Carnivore would have been explored more.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, I'm glad you brought that up, Mark. I would have been bummed if I realized like a week from now that this was this year. Because, dude, that is a monumental album, I say.
You know what though? I should have known to look for Carnivore. I mean, this is one of my favorite records, along with Retaliation. It's just I wasn't thinking about it. I just felt like it was almost too early. But now that I think about it, there's a story with Peter Steele they both played CBGBs, them and the Cro-Mags, the same day. The Cro-Mags did a matinee. Peter Steele got there early, saw the Cro-Mags, and then the next time Harley Flanagan from the Cro-Mags saw him, he shaved his head, he had suspenders and boots on, and they released Retaliation, which is more of a hardcore record. So I think it's just awesome, So I should have connected the dots through that, but I just didn't notice it. I've gone through the list 1,000 times. I just kind of went by me. But anyway, I'm glad I found it because I know we're all lovers of Carnivore.
Yes,
all lovers of Carnivore.
How come when we do a year, I know my albums for the most part. I'll do some shit in case I'm like, oh fuck, like I thought there's 1 or 2 albums like Whiplash, Power and Pain I thought came out in this year, and I was really excited. But I'm like, all right, that's next year.
86, yeah.
I'm like, that's just one more thing to fight 1986 over. But, dude, like, this didn't make any of the fucking top 30, top 20, top 10 lists. And I'm shocked. Because once again, not for lack of love, just because I don't know why it didn't come up on any. And like I said, I always thought it was like maybe 87. And then maybe like Retaliation came out in 88 or something. But you're right. That's an early album.
Doug, you missed another.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Too,
I did notice. I didn't look at like so many lists per se, but I did look at one and it wasn't on there, and it was a top 30. So yeah, you're right about that. I mean, I didn't see it either.
Doug, you missed a Misfits record too one year. Remember? You were like, "How did I fucking miss that?"
Well, you missed it 2 years, man.
2 years. I think I missed Walk Among Us and Earth AD.
You did. Yeah.
It's like fuck. What Misfits album am I missing this year?
Hey,
Legacy of Brutality,
97 or whatever.
What about Legacy?
Legacy Brutality.
Yeah,
that's like a compilation record, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but didn't Danzig like kind of? I was always told Legacy of Brutality was like they were all Misfit songs, but like Danzig kind of played every album, which I mean every instrument, but I don't think that's true either. I think that's bullshit.
No, though, there's definitely something to it though, because if you listen to Legacy of Brutality, like it's missing the bass or something. Like if you listen to like the songs they did on Static Age, like the sound quality is so much better on Static Age.
Yeah, so they took an album and made it shittier. Well, not an album. All right, so I'll look into that for the next cast because I'm curious. Because I remember hearing that years ago, and I remember like our buddies growing up had like the Legacy of Brutality. I remember having like the Legacy of Brutality Misfits poster, and I'm just like, yeah, it's probably just another money grab, But I'm like, I don't give a fuck because they're making cool merch, But
I'd love to do like a full Danzig cast, but he'd probably like sue us or something.
What if we like? what if we just said his name backwards when we referred to him like Genzig did? No,
I don't even know how to do that.
I mean, I don't know.
I'd have to look at it.
He can try to sue us, but I'm not sure how much capital he has left after the, becoming a director, producer, shitty filmmaker. I don't even want to talk about it.
Shitty, vampire western, spaghetti western.
Don't. I can't. I tried. I was so excited. For Veronica, and it was just, I had to turn it off after 5 minutes. I'm like, this is just fucking horrid. Terrible.
Kevin, we'll end up settling with Danzig in court, and like our punishment will be like picking up the bricks in his front yard.
Yeah.
And cleaning his litter box for like a fucking week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
all right.
All kidding aside, dude, great album, great pick, Marco. Thank you for fucking picking that one out of obscurity, because dude, Thermonuclear Warrior, Male Supremacy, like
World War 3 and 4, yeah.
World War 3 and 4. Oh, I farted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still pissed that they fucking, in Hampton they shut that off right before World War 3 and 4.
Dude, I was waiting for that. That was what I was waiting for, man.
We had to watch all those shitty bands that fucking opened, and then we lose one fucking song for Carnivore. You gotta be kidding me.
It might even I think they lost a couple. I think they were gonna play, like I remember looking at their set list, and they were gonna play a few more, and they got shut down like almost like 20 minutes early. So I think we missed a few.
Yeah, I think they ended with what, Male Supremacy?
Yeah.
I know they definitely played that one, but.
Yeah, at least they played that. I mean, that would have been horrific if they didn't, but anyway. All right, moving on. I'm going with the Mighty Anthrax for my second choice, Spreading the Disease. 1985, Megaforce Records. It is their second record, but the first to feature Joey Belladonna and bassist Frank Bello. And then that ended up being the Supreme lineup for many, many years, and even up to now. So, yeah, man. For me, my standout track is going to be Gung-Ho. Just the double bass playing of Mr. Benanti. It's unmatched, man, for that year. I mean, you know, we're going to make a reference down the road for another amazing drummer, but dude, the fucking double bass on this song is so precise. Yeah, I still don't think Benanti gets the recognition he does as a technical drummer. He doesn't.
No, I've had this discussion like with so many people, even in metal, like drummers that like I'll be like, oh, best thrash drummer, and like everybody forgets about Benanti, but he gets mentioned later. It's like, oh, how did I forget about Charlie Benanti? But he's never like the first to come to mind. It's always Lombardo or Gene Hoglan or whatever. You know what I mean? Lars Ulrich. You know, like. I know, I'm just kidding.
All right, well, hey, so, dude, I mean, I remember reading an article maybe 2 or 3 years ago, like, and Charlie was basically saying, like, I invented the double bass and no one gives me any credit.
No. It's the blast beat.
Oh. All right, the blast beat. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. It's the blast beat, yeah.
So, in this same year, he drummed for Spreading the Disease as well as he was on Stormtrooper's Speak English or Die, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, he was a busy dude this year. Plus, both drumming, I would say, monumental albums, dude. Like, Charlie just doesn't get, especially, I know we're not quite at Among the Living yet, but going through like Anthrax's catalog, like if you just tone out like Scott Ian's guitar and Danny Spitz, dude, and Frank Bello obviously, but dude, Charlie drumming. Like, Skeletons in the Closet, there's some songs where it's just like, it blows my mind when you zone everything else out and just fucking listen to what he's actually playing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say, especially on the 85 album, Spreading the Disease, too. You know?
Yeah, so I was actually watching an interview with Charlie Benanti the other day. He was on my New York Hardcore Chronicles podcast that I was talking about earlier. And he was saying that when Scott Ian and Dan Lilker went to try Benanti out, that they asked him if he could play fast as a shark. And in 81, when he joined as a young, like very young drummer, he was able to pull it off and play it. So like he cites them as being like the first to really like hone in on that double bass. Yep. He also, cited Overkill, but he said the way they did it on Fast as a Shark was just something that was never heard before. So yeah, I mean, that dude was amazing, dude. So that's why I say the double bass. I think you meant the blast beat, because he is credited, because he played so fast. And it's argued by people. I've heard this argued that he created it, and some people don't think he did. He just played really fast. But SOD had blast beats.
I mean, who before SOD or, say, Spreading the Disease would have had blast beats? Like, we've done every year up until now. And there's been heavy, there's been fast, there's been melodic, but as far as like the aggression of like SOD and Charlie's drumming, like I would say, in my opinion, humble opinion.
I don't know, man, because like I would think you'd have to go to like Morbid Angel, Abominations, and Desolation. Their demo.
What's your definition of a blast beat, right? Just I mean, literally, just hi-hat, snare, and bass at the same time. Ba 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 ba, right? It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter the speed. That's technically a blast beat. Ba 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 ba.
Correct.
I'm going to just mic drop it. It's gonna go to Bill Ward. Lord of this world. Ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I mean, that's only like 3 or 4 hits.
Slow
at a time.
But still, I mean, what other? You go back into the 70s, man. What other band had a drum beat that did that? Ba 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 ba. Lord of this world. Ba 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 ba. I mean,
but Bill Ward.
You're gonna start to get. I mean, that's it. Ba 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 ba. I mean,
it's like what we've discussed though, Kevin, many, many, many fucking times. Is like Sabbath created everything. No matter if it was drums, guitar. I honestly believe, like in metal, they created, a lot. I think John Bonham could be credited too, the way he played the drums.
Oh yeah,
that dude was fucking amazing. Yeah. I'm not necessarily talking about Led Zeppelin as a metal band, but I think Bonham is very influential in the metal realm.
Yeah, man.
And Cozy Powell.
Oh, dude, Cozy, yes. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it really is funny. I always hear Sabbath and everything. It doesn't even matter how heavy it is or what style of metal. I always fucking hear Sabbath. So,
dude, who kind of quoted that, saying like basically? I remember was it Get Thrash, like the metal not Anthropology. Fuck, my fucking brain's not working tonight.
Documentary, yeah.
The documentary. He was like a philanthropist.
All right, and Doug is done for the night. Everybody, Doug, say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Philanthropist. No, but it was on one of the things. I think it was either Rob Zombie or someone in his band was basically saying like any fucking riff you've ever heard, like Black Sabbath has already written. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
In some way, shape, or form.
In the past.
I think it was Scott Ian. Yeah, Scott Ian has said it.
We said it.
Henry Rollins has said it. I mean, there's so many. Yeah, we've said it. It's true. We keep
the
saying
Vintage
it.
Bird podcast has said it. You speed up like Children of the Grave. It's a fucking thrash song.
Yeah.
Like they've done it all. Lord of this World, Doom song.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Like everything they've fucking done, man. Sabbath's amazing. But let's get back to this record. I just want to quote a couple songs because I really love them. Like Medusa, awesome song. Didn't know, written by John Zazula.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, he wrote the lyrics to it, which is unbelievable. And there's still a couple Turban songs on this, which is, like lyrically, it's Armed and Dangerous and Gung-Ho.
Right. Turban songs.
But yeah, and it has, the classic Madhouse, which is, a song that really helped put them on the map.
Yeah, it's like they're Enter Sandman.
To an extent, yeah, much better than Enter Sandman, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree, but dude, like Medusa's probably one of my Medusa and Lone Justice have probably over the years have become my standout songs. You know how like you listen to an album, you love it, and you love these two songs, and then a month later you love these two, and then these two. It's like if I had to choose, dude, just the whole album is a banger, but Medusa and Lone Justice definitely stick out.
And for people who don't know,
another thing I learned
for people who don't
listening to a podcast. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, for people who don't know, there's Armed and Dangerous 2 was released in '85, which was they did the EP with Belladonna on it, just to like refresh fans, like because Neil wasn't in the band anymore, they already had Fistful of Metal, and they wanted to basically have everybody get a taste of their first album with Joey on it. So I mean, a lot of people could get confused by the fact by this that's technically just an EP. It's not an album. It's just
so wait. Did the EP come out as a single, or it came out, or like an EP before or after the album?
It came out in 1985. Armed and Dangerous.
But it was before.
Yeah, it was before.
So it was an EP, but before, and that had didn't have like God Save the Queen and
Panic. It had Armed and Dangerous, God Save the Queen, Panic, Raise Hell, Metal Thrashing Mad, and Soldiers of Metal. Hold on, there's two more songs in there too. But yeah, it was
Howling Furies. No, that's on their first record.
Yeah, Howling Furies.
Oh, yeah, that's on that one. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So
that's longer than an EP though.
It is, but you know why they did it. I mean, it was smart. Megaforce was like, yeah, we should pump this out first so that everybody goes, oh, cool, they got a new EP out with a couple of tracks off the first record, a couple covers, and then it's, oh, by the way, it's Joey Belladonna singing, not Neil Turpin.
I still have my original impression of that, thanks to you, Kevin.
Nice. Is it pristine?
It is, actually. And I thank you for that. So, let me, while we're on the subject, Kev, let me ask you a question. You never really got into SOD, right?
I didn't get, I don't listen to the album ritually, but you guys continuously, throw it in randomly over the last few years. I think the last time me and Marco went on a music spiral, he had me put it on too, and I enjoy it, man. I think it's a great record. It really is.
As far as next time you hear it, just pay a little bit more attention to the drumming now that we've kind of talked about it. Just because I think you being a drummer, I think you'll appreciate it a little bit more. Plus, the aggression, Freddie Krueger alone, man. the aggression on that album. I mean, that song. I mean, the whole album is great, but just listen to like the drumming on some of those tunes, and you'll be like, okay, I see where they're coming from. Like, go ahead, Mark.
And you know, Freddy Krueger was actually in the running to be on the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 soundtrack.
Was it really?
They chose Dream Warriors over it.
No shit. I figured they at least would have done both. I know.
And then, go ahead.
I was gonna say I know Anthrax is that's been their. I remember when Judge Dredd came out and like they love Judge Dredd, I Am the Law, the whole gimmick, and I remember when they put out they wanted Anthrax to I Am the Law to be on like the Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone. And they're like, no, we're comic book fans. Like, he never showed his face. And, like, Stallone takes his mask off in the first, 14 seconds of the movie. They're like, fuck you, Like, being comic book fans, they said, no, we don't want a part of it. And I kind of respect that, too. It wasn't for the money. They did it because they love the comics and they were trying to stay true,
And quick trivia. Does anybody know what SSC stands for? Stand or Fall, the SSC part?
No.
No, I'm thinking of, I'm on the wrong album. Sorry, go ahead.
It stands for Suck Some Cock.
Does it really?
Because I guess Frank Bello used to say it all the time. And then if you go back to State of Euphoria, there's ADI, the horror of it all, that stands for Arabian Douche Intro.
I knew ADI, I didn't know.
Because Danny Spitz was really into I think it was Danny Spitz was really into Arabian music, so he would always try to do like Arabian influence stuff. So that's why they named it Arabian Douche Intro.
That's hilarious. What about AIR?
I forget. I think they said it too. I actually listened to an interview. They were asked all these questions. I don't remember what AIR stands for. I'll try to look it up though.
It's amazing.
But if you want,
these guys were playing stadiums like Metallica still are. A lot of these bands from that time, man, they were all fucking doing stadiums. How the fuck did Metallica continue that?
Dude, popularity, bro. They just blew the fuck up and sold 20 million records on the Black Album.
God damn it!
They had the formula.
MTV can do wonders for you.
They had the formula, and they got the ladies on track. Like, not just like the groupie ladies, but they got all the ladies and all the dudes on track and everyone in between.
Yeah.
They just had that formula down, man. But
yeah. All right, let's talk Spiral. We could go into Metallica Spiral, and then I'm gonna need a therapist. So we need to. Yeah. We gotta move on.
We'll move it along in 2 seconds. But AIR apparently stands for Adolescence in Red.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I could find on it.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. But anyway, who's next?
It's slightly anticlimactic, I'm not going to
Yeah.
It's not as cool as Suck Some Cock or Arabian Douche Intro. But.
No. Or NFL, spelled backwards.
It's very New York.
It's very New York, yeah.
Yeah, nice fucking life spelled backwards, yeah.
Nice fucking life. All right, who's up? You next up, Kev? Next up?
No, I just went.
No, he just did Anthrax. It's you.
Doug, do you want us to read your selections for you?
Good pick, buddy. Good pick. All right. So and once again in no specific order, dude, Creator, Endless Pain, released October 1985 on Noise Records. Raging in at the time amount of 38 minutes and 40 seconds. And so I think this album kind of speaks for itself, at least for me and Marco. I know, Kevin, I don't think you ever really got into the older Creator because of the lyrics.
No, it's Millie's voice, man. I can't. He's just another one I can't get into.
So I agree with you on the later albums, but the first 4, 5, even 6 albums, until the mid 90s when he started getting a lot more nasally and high pitched. Like these earlier records, it was a lot more like guttural from the throat.
Because it wasn't all him.
Well, it was Venter too.
Yeah, Venter sang half the songs. He sang half the songs.
They
literally on the album it alternates. Cover. It alternates Venter, Petroza, Venter, Petroza, Venter, Petroza, Venter, Petroza, Venter, Petroza.
And I hate to say it, but most of my favorite songs on that album are fucking Venter too, like Tormentor and I think Flag of Hate.
Nope, that's Millie. That's Millie.
No, Tormentor?
Oh, Tormentor's Millie. Flag of Hate's Millie.
I've been lied
Total
to my
Death
entire
is
life.
Billy.
All right, then what the fuck does I could almost swear my life that Ventor sang Tormentor.
Nope. And, okay, so Ventor, I'll tell you what he's saying. He's saying Endless Pain, Storm of the Beast, Son of Evil, Cry War, and Living in Fear. Petroza sang Total Death, Tormentor, Flag of Hate, Bone Breaker, and Dying Victims.
Wow, actually, all these years I always thought fucking Ventor was the better vocalist in the album. I guess it turns out to be fucking Millie. Dude, those are like the ones you just like the second ones you just rattled off, dude, were my favorite songs on that album.
But yeah, you think about it though, Doug, like, even to this day, like, even though they haven't played it in a while as far as I know, but like, say like Ride of Violence, which is on, Pleasure to Kill, Ventor still sings that live. So like, they always play Flag of Hate. I never seen Ventor sing it. So that's what made me think, that's probably a Petroza jam. I thought Doug's all fucked up right now.
No, I thought Ventor died.
Died?
Which one? Oh, maybe it was the other dude on Endless Pain.
No, it was the dude who did Porn. He played in Sodom as well, I think.
No, I thought
that
like
died.
Rob something.
Makes sense.
I thought he was like a big like early member of Creator, and he like died in a motorcycle.
Rob Florietti, the bass player.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe
he's probably dead. I don't know.
He doesn't sing. He doesn't get no credit anyway.
No, Ventor's still in the band. He just left for a while. He left in the 90s. He left like after, what's the song they always play live? And I fucking...
Phobia?
Phobia. Yeah, that album.
It's like, oh no, everybody's wearing flannel. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, Outcast. Yeah, ooh, flannel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I just think, I know they... What are you giggling at?
I just like that you thought Ventor was dead. It's awesome.
Oh, I always get Robin. Dude, Marco, I thought Ventor sang half the songs fucking Millie did, so I have no credit. So I knew someone was dead. At least there wasn't fake news there.
It does look like spreading more fake metal news around the community again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the record though. I love the intensity. It actually sounds better to me than Pleasure to Kill. Pleasure to Kill has the better songs in my opinion overall. But I think the sound quality on this is a little bit better. Or at least like it just makes more sense. Like I think like on like something like Pleasure to Kill, the drums almost seem like they're a little too fast.
Yeah.
They're just kind of nonsensical.
Honestly,
on this album it makes a little more sense.
The mixing and sound on Pleasure to Kill is a little bit off. Like I said, that's why I think this album's kind of like it clicks in every way. You know what I mean? Even though it sounded like it was recorded in 10 hours when it was Millie. They had 2 weeks to record. Millie was so proud because they recorded in 10 days. And people say like, well, it sounds like it was recorded in fucking 10 hours. So I don't know what the fuck the difference is. But it's done well though. Like you said, compared to Pleasure to Kill, I think.
And another Noise Records release as well.
And another Noise. Oh, they were killing it.
Noise Records was on fire.
Yeah, they were killing it in '85. So this album here, I feel there's this and another band I'm going to mention that came out with an EP this year, raining from the same country, which I don't feel they get enough credit in the black metal influence scene.
I know where you're going.
So obviously this is thrash, but there's definitely a lot of black metal influences, which I could see, you know, we've had Venom, we've had Merciful Fate, we've had even like say Nasty Savage have had some of like a more black metal-y type approach. But they kind of took Soldiers
Under Command. I knew you were going there.
Striper? Oh shit, yeah. I have their tattoo on my back. I'm a sock.
You know what I'm gonna say about this, the Striper album? No, I'm just kidding. The album you're talking about, I'll let you unleash it. I think it's more influential in the actual sound of black metal. You know what I mean? Like, I think like Merciful Fate and Venom is more the aesthetic of black metal. Like what you know, the Norwegian shit. This actually has more of like the tremolo picking a little bit and has like more of the, you know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about Endless Pain? Or the one?
No, I'm talking about the album you're talking about.
All right.
Well, you're working into the EP.
We might as well just say that it's an honorable mention, which it's an EP. Normally with when we do the years, we do the
EPs. Suspense is killing me.
I know
what it is.
do you know what it is, Kevin?
I'm just waiting to figure out if you're gonna get confused or not.
Oh wait,
You already did.
where were we? In the sign of evil. Dude, Sodom in the Sign of Evil is the most darkest, scariest, I need to take a shower after fucking album I've heard so far in our lists, man.
Well,
And we
And I
have,
hate it.
you hate In Sign of Evil?
Yeah, man, there's something about it. I don't like the sound of it at all. It just sounds like shit. It's
but
and
you
I
can't-
love Sodom. You know, I love Sodom, dude. Like Sodom has one of my favorite thrash records of all time, which we'll get to in 1987. But
I think that's half the charm, though. It's like, it's so,
yeah,
well, think of what the black metalers were doing when they first came out. They would try to they would soak headphones in fucking water from a headset from a fighter jet. I mean, to just get any kind of fucking sound. Like, Sodom did that without even trying. Just with shitty.
and you know what, Doug? I hate most of that shit too.
Oh, do you like the early? Yeah. Alright, so. But you can at least.
Right, I'm not a big fan of like Mayhem and stuff. Like I like the more produced shit. Like I like Immortal, like At the Heart of Winter. You know how I roll.
No,
You
I know.
Like, give me that. I'll take that.
yeah, like
But-
you
but
actually
it-
made an effort to make a record, Marco. Is that what you're saying? Like you actually made the effort?
Yeah, I mean it's not like it's like pristine. It's not perfect, but it sounds good.
Yeah, like
you
you
know,
made an effort. You
It's not
actually-
like fucking like this guy screaming. It sounds like from a mile away, and like the fucking bass is overriding everything, and you can't really make out what the guitar's doing because the drums are too loud. And
Yeah,
I don't
but-
know, it's a bunch of bullshit.
But
It's
dude,
hipster.
It's so much more black metal if you have a microphone inside of a World War II Nazi helmet and you just play your drums to it right there in front of it.
Right.
Dude,
Yep.
I hate to say
That's
it.
black metal.
I've always said it. I love black metal, but black metal, like black metalers, are the hipsters of metal. Like, we're so metal, we're not metal, but we're so, so not metal, we are metal, and we are metal. Like, we're gonna make the most obscure album ever that sounds like shit, and not even gonna like it unless you know what it is, but we're gonna listen to techno, like, dude, I love it. I love the scene. I love the essence, but they kind of make no sense with their fucking, some of their ideology. That's what's always cracking up about black metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't deny.
Guys.
I know this album, at least, it has the feels, and I could see 3, 4, 5 years later, even Mayhem and all these dudes coming along saying, "Holy fuck!" Like Venom this plus Sodom this equals Death Crush this. It was kind of, I think it was
And
a stepping
I
stone.
love the way you found a way to get 2 albums in for the price of one.
Yeah, bundle baby. It's all about that bundle.
All right, Million Creator. I don't have anything else to say. I think it has a pretty horrible album cover. Probably cool back in the day.
Pretty colors. I was
well,
gonna say it's got pretty colors. There you go. That's my.
So that was Phil LaVerve, and he did a lot of Death Row's shit. He did like Soldier, Riders of Doom, and I forget the name of the second album, but he did like Celtic Frost, Emperor's Return. He did a lot of the Creator, like Out of the Dark and the Light, which is probably one of my favorite album covers. He's like done shit.
That's a good one, yeah.
He's done shit like he's done Ex Mortis shit too, so he's kind of still in the metal art realm, which is kind of cool too. I mean, 30 plus years later. So
Oh man, it's very 80s. I like it. Very 80s cartoon. I mean, you saw that style everywhere in the 80s. I appreciate it.
Dude, you say that, and it's funny because I'm staring at like a stack of books on my little desk here, and any of these, they're either like occult novels or like sci-fi novels, and that's what all these, like, this dude did like a lot of this Pleasure to Kill, Out of the Dark and the Light. He did a lot of sci-fi novels. He did a lot of like occult kind of novel covers, and that was half the fun back then. It was like, now you see this shit and it was done in like 3 minutes on like some kind of CGI shit, not like Travis Smith. That actually took some art. That was a little bit of both, but like this shit now kind of sucks compared to like the time and effort they put into the artwork, on these older albums.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. All right. This next album, I think it's me. Arguably for me, I don't know, man. I had a hard time choosing what my favorite album of this year was. And the album I think we all kind of chose together might kind of conquer it, but I don't know. This album's fucking close. But the other day I was watching a little show called Cobra Kai.
Ah.
And the new season. I know you got Doug, you haven't seen it, and Kevin, you're not caught up. But there's a scene right at the beginning of episode 8 or 9, and this guy, remember Stingray, Kevin,
Yeah.
the character, yeah. So this guy, he's on probation for something that happened on the show, and he's off of it now, and he's jamming music, and his neighbor comes over in the front yard. He's like, yo, you were jamming that shitty Metallica all night. And he's like, actually, it was Exodus, Bonded by Blood. But it's not your fault. You don't know the genre. That's what he said to him. And, yeah, Bonded by Blood, man. Gary Holt and company, fucking Rick Hunolt, Tom Hunting, Voice of an Angel.
Voice of an Angel.
You know, I don't know who played bass on that record, even though I got it in front of me, but who am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, Paul Bailoff, obviously. Rest in peace. Even though he didn't have the best voice, but it fit this album so fucking well. And
Yes, it did. Yes, it
Rob
did.
McKillop. What's that, Kevin?
I said it did. It fit. I mean, I still struggle with. I mean, is Steve Souza better or Bailoff? I think Bailoff had a very interesting voice.
I think it fit this record, but I think like if you put Bailoff on other records, they might not fit as well. Like say like Pleasures of the Flesh. I mean, they're a little bit different. Exodus Bonded by Blood is just it's almost it's just so fucking heavy, dude. It's so intense. Like the tone of the album is so dark. Fucking the lyrics are like murderous.
Angry.
Angry, murderous. They talk about killing, fucking raping, murdering wives. Fucking insane, man. And the thing about this album too is I could literally put it on and not skip a fucking track. Every track is a phenomenal thrash song and probably has one of my top 5 thrash songs on it, which is Strike of the Beast, which is fucking phenomenal. They still end every show they do with it. I mean, still to this day. And what's cool is me and Doug actually had the pleasure of seeing them do this whole fucking album live on the cruise, last cruise we were on.
Yeah,
and,
that was me and Marco are one of the few metalheads that can say that we saw like over 50 plus shows in 2020 because as soon as we got back, there was like 2 shows and everything shut down for a year.
Right.
Wow.
And a handful of guys.
On that same cruise, I remember me and Marco were cutting through the casino on one of the floors. I'm like, fuck, like, Doug, is that like Tom Huntington? Like, yeah, I think it is. Hunting. He's like, hey, let's let him be. And I'm like, all right, you're right. And then fucking, he starts kind of tiptoeing like by, and he's like, hey, where you guys going? Come over and say hi. So he was honestly probably one of the nicest metalheads I think I've ever met anyway. I know Marco's met more
nice
people
dude.
than me, but yeah.
And I'm glad he survived the cancer. He had the cancer too, the stomach cancer, and he survived it. So
yeah, that would have sucked to lose him. You know what I mean? For the metal community.
But yeah, this band was around really early. A lot of people think they're not first wave, but they're totally first wave because they came out in '85, but they don't realize they formed in the '70s. Kirk Hammett obviously was the big original member who went on to be in Metallica. I don't know, man. It's just a classic. I mean, there's really nothing I could say. This album's been talked about so much. I mean, it's a fucking stone cold classic. A lot of people I will argue it might be the best thrash record of all time. It's in my top 5 for sure. For sure.
The album cover alone, man.
Yeah, like the evil, it kind of reminds me of like, what is it, 1984? Van Halen a little bit.
Oh yeah.
They're not Siamese on it though, but it's like 2 babies on it, smoking cigarettes and shit.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Another one.
Terrible. The original.
Another one. I thank Kevin for giving me a perfect condition copy a decade ago.
Mm-hmm. Did you get the combat version? The original?
It's the combat, yeah.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it's like I want to say it might be first press.
I did get
I got a first pressing of it. It's actually not that expensive. It's not that expensive. You can't. The thing is they printed so many back then. That's what's good about like the albums from that era. Like even like Feel the Fire, you should be able to get for a relatively good price. Even though I haven't tried for that one, I got to get that one. I got to repress of that one, but.
That it's funny you mentioned that because if you don't mind, Kevin, I'll go next.
Go ahead.
My next album is going to be Overkill, Feel the Fire, since
Nice.
we're on the topic. And it's funny because I actually have it in my hand right now. So when I went to Europe in 2006, I bought a handful of records for like 50 cent euro? Fucking Marco, what would that be? Half a euro? What would 50 cents in euro be? Wouldn't
50 cent euros, I don't know.
50 cent euro?
Half a euro.
By the way,
Yeah.
while you guys are arguing about euros and dongs, we got Dr. J joined.
What?
Oh, nice.
What up? What up, buddy?
What up?
Jason!
Can you hear me?
I hear ya.
What's up, buddy? Good to hear that voice,
What's going on?
Dr. J.
I was not much, man.
Are you talking? You got a microphone inside of a World War II helmet?
Man, sounded.
Oh, you cut out.
He's cutting out. Well, Doug, why don't you keep talking? He can jump in whenever he gets good service here. So, Doug, keep going. You were gonna.
All right, cool. So,
All right, Dougie. Yeah, put him up in here.
oh, there we go. I'm getting like sweet, sexy vibes and cutting in and out, and I like it. So, back in 2006, I fucking when I went to Europe, I remember bringing back one of the albums I brought back was Overkill, Feel the Fire, for half a euro at the time, and I remember I had a fucking stack of them. I brought back 5 or 6 of them, like this, like Annihilator, Neverland. I remember getting Testament, New World Order for Kevin, which he probably hawked to sell his house or to buy his house. I don't blame you. But and then I remember telling my ex at the time, hey, like I'm leaving tomorrow. Like go back and get these records. Like I'll fucking ship them back. Like throw away your luggage. I'll pay for your clothes. Fucking I don't care. And she went back and they were fucking gone. So I was glad I got the ones I did. So the Overkill, Feel the Fire. I'm looking at it right now. It's weird because if you look at the original, Marco, you know as well as I do, Sonic Medusa, the Dead Boys cover, is the very last song on the album.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's the last song on side 1 when it's normally the last song on side 2. And normally it wasn't even put on the record version. And this is supposedly came out in like 86 when the album came out in 85. Yeah. So that's an earlier pressing that has Sonic Medusa, which is kind of weird. And that's another anomaly, like we're talking about with the Halloween. Well, the Halloween, yeah. So, I don't know, I still haven't quite figured that out, but, yeah, so 1985, Feel the Fire, man. It's a banger. It's, the thing with 1985, it's this weird crossroads in metal, and I say this every year, but I think 85 really defines that where, we haven't talked about a couple of the albums, but, you know, obviously, an honorable mention is gonna be Possessed at the 7 Churches.
7 Churches, yeah.
So metal just starts going in like 10 different directions right here. Before it was kind of like glam, new wave of British heavy metal, and like a little bit of thrash. And now it's starting to go like more aggressive thrash. And
There's
then
variety for sure, man. There's
yeah,
so much variety in 85.
Oh, and this is where it just kind of sounds like cactus, and it shoots every which way, and I love it. And that's why this is such a fucking tough year to choose like top 3s, you know, because
yeah, there's a lot going on.
I mean, you look at, I'm even reading something here, like for Feel the Fire, like they're touring, right? In 85 and 86, they toured with Carnivore, SOD, Blessed Death, Nuclear Assault, Liege Lord, Black Flag, Venom, Anthrax, DRI, Ancient Steele, Slayer. Like, what's the common, I mean, aside from a couple bands? All fucking thrash bands.
Yep.
You know, like, that's what really blew up in 85. I feel like 85 is almost like the first year where it really went insane.
I agree.
And in the next few years, you're going to get Dark Angels, Nuclear Assaults releasing their first records. You know, I mean, this is the year that thrash blew up, in my opinion. Like, blew up.
Well, I'm going to take us back a step and take us back to heavy metal. Less
fucking boring.
Less thrash. Yeah, I know. That was the beauty. I mean, this is more of a continuation of 83, 84, 85. I mean, 83, 84, in my opinion, into 85. I had a tough time, you know, immediately when I totally forgot about Dio's record, Sacred Heart. But I had that on the list, and then like Marco, I was like, I don't know, man. There's so many good records. It's so hard to pick. So I'm really torn, but I'm gonna stick with Dio just because it's his third record, third and last with Vivian Campbell. Just a phenomenal guitar player. But
I
I
love
want to
her.
give a quick shout out. Yeah, I love her. She's the prettiest girl in Def Leppard. And he also lives here in New Hampshire, which is interesting. I don't know where, but dude, it wouldn't surprise me if he's got that mansion up on Mountain Road, like way up in the back. If that's Vivian Campbell. Wouldn't surprise me. So he lives
that'd be very appropriate.
yeah, he lives in the Concord area, or did. That house sold, so somebody actually bought that. Wasp, man. I mean, The Last Command. It's an amazing record, dude. Wild Child is just like a staple metal tune, but I'm torn on that. I should have gone with Wasp, but I'm gonna stick to Dio. Sacred Heart. It's I would say it's like, I mean, literally like in the line of the first three records, it's certainly the not the greatest of the three featuring Vivian, but it's the weakest. But that's because it has, like, at this point, Dio is already pretty mainstream and massive, doing stadiums. I'm pretty sure on this tour, I mean, this was his most theatric tour. He had the giant fucking dragon that they slay out in stage and stuff. I mean, it was an amazing stage show for sure. You can look up videos; it's insane. Song I hate is definitely "Hungry for Heaven." I'll listen to it, but it's definitely not one of my favorite tracks. But I mean, Another Lie is great. Just Another Day is great. Shoot Shoot is great. Sacred Heart is awesome. Like The Beat of a Heart is great too. So I mean, like, aside from all the like tracks that everybody knows, King of Rock and Roll, Hungry for Heaven, Rock and Roll Children, like, the rest of the album's amazing. It just doesn't get the credit because those are the songs. So it's definitely one of their more mainstream records.
Yeah, I listened to it today, as a matter of fact, and I loved King of Rock and Roll. I don't understand. Is it really live, or they just add the aesthetic to it?
They added the aesthetic, and I hate that. Like, I feel like it ruined it. Like,
yeah.
Another bad call. Like, they didn't need to do that. Like, all right.
No.
And then it goes into a regular studio sound.
Right, but then it has, like, the clapping at the end. I thought maybe it was just such a good recording they kept it.
Yeah.
But I love the title track. But You're right. I think it lulls out a little bit for a little while. Like, even Another Lie, I thought was kind of a boring song. Hungry for Heaven's definitely the worst song. I agree with you. But when, like, The Beat of a Heart comes on, I think the rest of the album's phenomenal. Like, it just side B of that album just dominates. I wish Sacred Heart was on side B instead of Hungry for Heaven, because I would just fucking play that on my record player constantly, and the other songs could eat a dick.
Yep.
But I love those songs.
Yeah.
No, it's true, man. And I know Doug's not a big fan of this record, because Doug actually owned a copy and gave it to me.
Oh, that's where it went.
Remember, Doug?
I do.
Yeah. You gave it to me. You're like, I don't listen to this record, so you can have it. You like this record? I'm like, yeah.
Dude, that was like probably a decade ago I gave that to you now, right?
Yeah, you gave it to me a long time ago, yeah. I
Back
don't
when
know
I was
decade, but it's definitely been some years.
I think it's back when I was in Waltham, because I remember that that was before Discogs, and that was at least like probably 2010 or 2011, so.
Yeah, might have been. I mean, we started hanging in like 2010, so.
Giving away a Dio record.
It could have been.
Unbelievable, Doug. You're so rotten to the core.
Oh, I see what you did there. Dude.
Yeah, again, I mean, we have a variety of metal here. Just a shout out to Dio, not the strongest record of '85 by any means, but I mean, it was a good album. I think he had better albums after that one. But definitely a bunch of standout tracks. Don't skip this, because there are so many good songs that you're just missing out on aside from the other part of the record. And for God's sakes, give Wasp a chance. I don't know why so many people think they're hair metal. They're not, dude. They're a metal band. Wasp have amazing songs. Fucking, even the record prior to this was just awesome. Awesome, man. Fuck Like a Beast. I'd have to look up the tracks. I forget the name of the songs at this point, but School Days and all that shit. Yeah, it's just an amazing record, man. And The Last Command is really good from '85. Just two strong records back to back from Wasp. Put them on the fence. They're just a heavy metal band. I mean, you couldn't fit them into anything else. They're just really solid heavy metal from the early '80s.
Dude, absolutely, dude.
I'm glad they made the list, because their gimmick is one thing. Their gimmick's fun, and then the music kind of is there to back it up. And like you said, they're not hair metal like you think they would be. Like, that's why I always passed them off when I was younger, for that exact reason.
Yeah, and A few other honorable mentions. I'm not even going to talk about them. Just going to give just a shout out. Definitely Soldiers of the Night, Vicious Rumors. Done with Mirrors
Good
from
choice.
Aerosmith, which nobody knows this album exists for
I
whatever
love that
reason.
album, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
with
Brad
you.
Whitford and Joe Perry came back to Aerosmith. It is a very, very strong rock and roll record for Aerosmith. It is right up there with their early catalog from the 70s, so fuck off, listen to it. And honestly, Asylum from Kiss. If you don't like it, kiss my ass. It is a really good record, man. There's some solid guitar playing on Asylum from Kiss. So.
All right. I'll have to put those on the old listen list.
Oh, and Chastain. What am I saying, man? Fucking Chastain. Amazing record, man. Mystery of Illusion. I became just a random Chastain fan. Great guitar playing, and the lead vocalist, very strong female vocalist in metal in those early days, had a very raspy, manly voice. Awesome falsettos, but sounded like a dude. So check out Chastain.
That came out in 85, the
Yeah.
first one?
Mystery of Illusion. I don't know if that's their first record. Yep, it's the debut record.
No shit, I didn't know that was that. I thought that was like early 90s
And
for some
it's
reason.
technically shred, guitar playing, so it's on shrapnel.
No shit.
Yeah, it fits in line with
Dude.
Cacophony and all those other great guitar players. So,
Dude,
yeah.
such a fucking year for metal. Like just
Yeah.
every which direction. This is where, like we said, metal goes every which way, and it's a
Relentless
no
from-
man's land from there.
Relentless from Pentagram, fucking Razor. I mean, there's just so many bands, man. There's so many bands, so many different styles. So.
What happened? I think I got fucking taken off.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I think so. I got
Thought you
booted.
was-
But
thought you was
did you
quiet.
guys mention Rat?
No.
Invasion
Good,
of Your Privacy?
good mention, man. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking lay it down, bro. That song fucking rules,
Oh,
man.
that does, yeah. Lay it down.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got booted. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I'm back.
Well, welcome back.
Good mention, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, for Rat. And Doug, I'm surprised. Maybe you did, or maybe you forgot in your drunken haze. Omen. I can't believe you didn't say anything about Warning of Danger.
Warning of Danger.
That was one of my I love, and this is Marco knows. This is like between Battle Cry and Warning of Danger. It's like spreading the disease versus Among the Living for me. It's one of those like you love one, hate one, or not love one, hate one, but you always like one more than the other. And I love Warning of Danger, but if I had a top three, if Battle Cry was on there, which it will be eventually, that'd be top three.
Yeah.
I do love Warning of Danger though. That was on my honorable mentions list, but I'm not allowed to because I get yelled at for honorable mentions. Except for
Well, you
Razor.
didn't mention them.
Except for Razor.
I don't know.
Invaders.
I did miss a couple minutes of the show, but there's a couple I got before we get to the number one pick. Inferno Overkill by Destruction.
Yep.
Classic record, dude. It's one of my favorites. Did you mention Iron Angel, Doug?
I did not. I was waiting for you. I figured you were going to mention that one.
Hell.
Oop, I think Marco cut out again. He was going to say Hellish Crossfire, which also came out in 85. Another, I believe, German as well. Another great fucking early thrash record. Dude, Razor, like you just mentioned, Evil Invaders, man. The song Evil Invaders, Cross Me Fool, which is one of my easily top 10 of all time thrash songs. Cutthroat, Iron Hammer, like just an all around banger. Dude, Fate's Warning, Spectre Within.
Jim Gillette.
Huh?
I was just saying Jim Gillette. Fucking Jim Gillette.
Jim Gillette?
I love that Marco got cut off and Doug knew right what he was talking about.
Yeah, he cut right into it.
Exactly what he was about to say.
Oh, hey, Doctor. Yeah, we finished each other's
This is Jay,
sentences.
by the way.
Hi, Dr. J. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
How's COVID treating you?
Too bad. It's actually treating me like shit.
Oh, why? At least
No, I don't have COVID. I'm good though.
I hope you have some good koozies to keep you comfortable at least.
Oh, dude, I'm drinking out of Leatherface's face right now.
Leatherface's face.
Thank you, my friend.
I see.
If I
see
hadn't
that
got cut
Marco.
off, I got a new helmet here. So if I hadn't got cut off earlier, it would have been perfect timing. Because I was calling in to talk about Bonded by Blood. That was the one that I knew was going to be Marco's pick too.
Yeah, I had a feeling too, like when we do like the years, we're like kind of like, hey, like this is the years, and we all kind of like throw our 3 in. And usually we're pretty diverse. We all
I saw 85 and I went, bonded by blood.
Bonded by blood. All right, hey, what's your number 1 pick of all of 1985, Jay? If you had to choose, before we get to our number 1, Bonded by blood.
Bonded by blood.
Okay.
Yep, 100%.
100%. Great fucking choice.
Fucking awesome. Yep.
Do you have a bit of a hint of
It
what?
might have a little to do with the fact that I can't stop listening to the new record too. So that's got a little something to do with it.
Ooh, so it's kind
The
of
new record's fucking killer.
it's kind of rekindled the flame.
Well, it kind of never went out. That album's, I mean, you hear Marco talk about it, and that album just speaks for itself. It's just one song after the other. I listen to it right through too. And I wish I could just loop it like in the old days.
Speaking of the new album, did you know that album? I think this new record's done really well for them in the charts.
Yeah, it's probably one of their best, better ranking albums, I would say.
Yeah, I think Gary playing in Slayer definitely helped. Pick up.
You can hear it. You can hear it in some of the riffing too. I mean, it's obviously still like so Gary, like all the riffing, but you can tell he spent some time with Slayer. It's evident.
So you think, Kevin, that
he's so fucking killer?
You think he gained a lot of Slayer fans, or Exodus did, because of Gary being in?
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. He just naturally picked up people knew him from Slayer. Maybe he picked up a lot of young fans that really didn't know. They went backwards in Slayer catalogs, and they only knew Gary.
That Kardashian shirt probably didn't hurt either.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, no shit. And so I mean, for him, it just really, I definitely think it helped the fan base, and we know Slayer's gone, so a lot of people.
If it is charting, it makes sense because this album is like right up there with, as far as quality, with like Tempo of the Damned is probably that one and Bonded are like my favorites by them.
Yeah, it's a great
record. This one's my new favorite. It's just so fucking good.
What's the song from Tempo? Is it Calling the Herd?
Yeah, Calling the Herd.
Fucking love that track, man. That's such a good song.
Dude, Tempo of the Damned too.
His vocals on the new one is so fucking good. Yep.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad. I'm just glad they're doing well. It's good to see, especially like Zetro, dude. He's been in and out and up and down and everywhere in between, dude. It's good to see them kind of have a good solid base and just playing fucking music again,
Is Marco?
I'm looking forward to Testament's new record too. When is that coming out?
That's going to be killer too. Is Marco back on?
No, we would have heard him.
I don't know.
He says, Caller Brain Dead is live, but I don't know when that was, and it didn't say he cut out. So maybe he's on mute or something. I don't know.
I'm going to disconnect him and see if I can get him to rejoin so we can wrap this up here.
All right, so while you're doing that, one more album I want to talk about. There's a million from this fucking year, and we could have our own second one just with, like we said, honorable mentions. But like, we get to have a whole half a podcast about SOD, Speak English or Die, dude. Super influential in many realms. Jay, you can back me up on this one, dude. Possess 7 Churches, man. Like, this was, may or may not have coined the death metal term. It is a song on the album, and the aggression, the vocals, like we haven't heard vocals this deep and growly, and this far in the music realm yet,
Yeah.
So it's like we kind of.
That's one I wasn't as familiar with. I'm not a big death metal guy. I never have been, but I got into it over the last couple years, recently.
Oh yeah.
Mostly, Death and Obituary, all the stuff that I'm just like revisiting, that I kind of I was like shying away from. I don't know why.
I know, even Kevin, like Kevin will tell you, he was like, fuck death metal, fuck Obituary, fuck everyone, and then now like Obituary is his favorite live band besides Opeth.
Yeah.
And maybe even
how many times
surpassed Opeth.
It came to a point where I was like feeling so shitty at a certain point. I was just like, I need a pick me up. And I'm like, these guys sound like they're having a terrible time. And it's made me feel so much better.
Marco, I hear you, man.
Dude, right? And you get it, man. You fucking get it.
Yeah, he's back.
It sounded like a Marco. Is that a Marco?
Yeah, you there? Everybody there?
We're here.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know where
There he is.
I don't know where Kevin went though, but hey, we were just chiming in about fucking, like we said before, how 1985 is a crossroads in metal, and we're just touching upon dude, Possessed Seven Churches, how may or may not be the pinnacle of death metal, like the origin-ish. I mean, dude, another honorable mention, which in the same realm as Possessed, dude, like Onslaught, Power from Hell, came out in 85. That's another very
I hear you, man.
heavy, aggressive...
I just want to make sure. Can you hear me? We're having all types of issues right now for some reason.
Oh, no, we can hear you great, man. We just can't hear Kevin now, but...
No, I'm here.
Good.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Yeah, I was on mute while you guys were talking. Well,
okay.
Look, let's, why don't we, since we got Marco back here, why don't we wrap this beast up? And, Marco, we'll let you, give us our number one album for 1985.
Well, it comes from the band we were just talking about. Gary Holt was in. 1985's precursor to death metal, Slayer's Hell Awaits.
Motley Crue, Theater of Pain?
Yeah, Smoking to the Boys Room was my second favorite, but nobody agreed with me, you know.
Yeah.
But, hey,
We're way off on our number ones. Holy shit.
But, again, what can I say about this album? I think it's very influential towards the death metal genre along with Possessed. I don't think it gets enough credit, in my opinion. Songs like Kill Again, At Dawn They Sleep. I mean, there's not many on this, so I can just name them all. Hell Awaits, Praise of Death, Necrophiliac, Grips of Eternity, Hardening of the Arteries. This is when Slayer got a little longer. They kind of found their own identity. It's my personal favorite Slayer record. I know most people will say Rain and Blood or Seasons of the Abyss or whatever, South of Heaven. But this is my personal favorite. Not much more to say. Kill Again has probably one of the best riffs fucking of all time.
Dude, I really like
Dawn They Sleep has one of the best middle breaks of all time.
I love these first couple records. I would agree, man. For whatever reason, I really like early Slayer. I know their first record definitely had more of a Maiden feel, but even I just don't know that, the later, more popular records were really great for the time, but these two records and Hell Awaits, more importantly, man, it's like, this was just genre defining,
I agree.
It was
a
Slayer record that I put on when I found out that Jeff Hanneman died. That was the first record I put on. It's not my favorite Slayer record, but it might have just been the closest one to me when I heard, and I just threw it on and I listened to it. It's up there as far as my favorite Slayer records.
I agree with Marco. Probably my personal favorite. I mean, I love most, but this one here, it's just, dude, it's so fucking dark. It's so fucking fast. It's so grim. And Kerry doesn't have as many ridiculous random solos as he does in Salt to Heaven and Rain and Blood.
Yeah.
So those factors alone, dude, it's just like the album in a whole, the artwork, it's just a full package, man. And one fucking album. Yep. It just slaps.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I always say, man, if people complain about their solos, but just listen to their first two records. They can solo. So it shows me that later on it's just a choice. They're doing it for the atmosphere, which I don't mind. On Rain and Blood, I think it's so fitting, because just the pace of the album and the chaos, it's so chaotic. But as far as the later stuff, the more calm stuff, as far as Season of the Abyss, Blood Red, why does it need a screechy ass solo? You know what I mean?
I know, dude.
But on these albums, they actually solo properly.
The later, anything after this, I hate
their calling card after a while, to have that kind of solo, it was just like a distinctive, oh, that's a Slayer solo.
It's like,
yeah, Rain and Blood started that all.
And you could take any of his solos, after Hell Awaits, and switch him for any other song and any other solo, and you wouldn't even fucking know the difference, because you just know there's a and then a ridiculous solo coming. It doesn't make sense. I hate to say it. Fuck Kerry King. I love Slayer, but fuck Kerry King.
Why? I have to understand why does it get included, for genres? I mean, if you look on Google, it says Hell Awaits and genres: thrash metal, black metal, speed metal. Where does the black metal take place? Is it in the lyrical content? Is it the...
I think lyrical content... Yeah. I think lyrically very dark, which isn't uncommon for the time, but then some of those riffs are just very fast and chuggy, are a little bit reminiscent.
Very fast
Trebello
picking.
Okay.
Yeah, of reminiscent of the black metal, like early black metal.
Like Kevin, just listen to the song "Kill Again"
Yeah.
and listen to that main riff, like, and you can hear it a little bit in that song. And I think, like,
all right.
again, like,
I can see that.
it just borders that death metal line too.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if it wasn't for this album, I think death metal might have not been what it is.
Yeah.
Between this and Possessed.
Interesting. All right.
Dude, I mean, I've always heard, like, I've had this argument with many friends over the years, like that, like, is Slayer a thrash metal band or a death metal band?
What?
Have you ever heard that argument?
I never want to listen. I don't want to hear that argument.
Marco, have you?
What, if they're thrash or death?
Yeah.
I think they're thrash, but they definitely influenced death. I think they were the band to take it to the next level, like, without a doubt. I mean, dude, like, this album, and I'd say Bonded by Blood for this year, like, were the albums that really were the heaviest fucking things on the face of the planet at that time. Maybe Possessed, too. But then you go to, you know, like, their next year, which the album definitely might even be the number one album, who knows. But Rain and Blood is what really, I think, like, really cemented it. How fast and aggressive, and I think they just took shit to the next level. Without them, I don't think it would have gotten heavier. And I think that's what their mark on metal will always be. Like, they just pushed it. Like, Metallica pushed it, too, for their time. And I think Slayer heard Metallica, and they kind of just did kind of a copycat thing, like Kevin said. Show No Mercy had, like, some Priest vibes, some Maiden vibes, some Venom vibes, but I think this album pushed them forward, and I think it just made the genre so much heavier.
Yeah, all right, I can see that.
So there's a quick story, though, I want to tell, though. On the tour for this record, they were on tour with Venom, and Tom Araya was fucking hammered.
Marco? I thought this was a really good. I thought there was a really good build-up. No, we just lost Marco. I wish I knew the story to continue it for him, but obviously.
Pause for dramatic effect.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, this is the best build-up ever. So, Dr. J, you know Dono, a kid we grew up with. He was the one that, like, I would always get in a fight with over fucking Slayer. He's like, no, Slayer's not thrash. They're death metal. And I'm like, you're an educated kid, you know music, and I'm like, where are you getting this from? And then, like, I did a little more research, and I'm like, all right, this is an actual argument that, like, metalheads have about, like, earlier Slayer, like, whether they're technically, quote-unquote, death metal. And same thing, it's like, quote-unquote, you know, black metal, speed metal influence. I mean, obviously speed metal, but, so I think it's just kind of like...
Well, I mean, like, all their albums are pretty dark, that we could all agree on that, but the earlier ones, you could say, they're not as thrashy. They're more, you know, especially Hell Awaits, where that's the one that I think is probably making people say that, is because it has, like, obviously death metal bands borrowed from that album.
Yeah.
And you can think of other thrash metal bands like Sepultura, who obviously started out with, like, more roots in more of a death metal sound than thrash.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of
really
like,
black metal too.
They go hand in hand. As boom, there he is.
So I don't know how far I got in my story. I apologize, but he said piss in my mouth, and then Tom Araya ended up pissing in his hair.
Wait.
Chronicles from Venom.
We got the punchline
from this tour.
We got the punchline before we got the story.
Honestly, that was even better. That's even better. We don't even need the setup now.
Yeah.
You can look into the story. Yeah.
That's beautiful. All right, yeah. So fuck. I mean, I can see that, dude. All monumental albums. It's funny too, because 1985, as far as like artwork goes too, like think of some of the albums. Like Possessed is a very boring album cover, I would say, but like Creator,
iconic though.
Iconic, yes, but boring. But like compared to like say Endless Pain, you know, or Hell Awaits, we have like demons ripping apart, fucking people dropping into hell. Like I think this was the year that really kind of there was like a change in sound as well as like the imagery. You know, if you think a lot of these like covers, they were starting to get a little bit more kind of like pushing the boundaries with, and I know it was like we said before, it was a big sci-fi fantasy type time. And a lot of these artists like Simon Beasley and what's his name that did the like Death Rider with Danzig, Frank Frazella, I can't remember.
We'll go with that.
But they all had that same kind of like, and a lot of like the creepy, eerie, famous monster magazines I have, a lot of them have artists, and you can tell it's like, oh fuck, that looks like Pleasure to Kill. Oh, that's why, because he did this album, this artwork, that artwork. It was just they had more pizzazz, yeah. They just cared more about the fucking album covers back then.
Yeah.
And that's why I love buying the older stuff on a 12x12 vinyl record, because I want the liner notes. I want that huge cover. Like, that's the shit that they put that much money and effort into way back when,
Back in my day, we had
That's what makes Doug hard.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
You kids today, you don't appreciate anything. You just download it and you listen to it when you want. You don't have to listen to the whole record. Back in my day, I had to listen to side A and side B.
Dude, 100%. You know what drives me fucking crazy? And we'll get to this when I think 87. Dude, if you were going to have a vinyl record, the dumbest thing you could ever do was like Onslaught in Search of Sanity. Their fucking intro was like a 2-minute fucking like, it was just like a humming for 2 minutes called Asylum. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that when people listen to this shit on record? Do you know what I mean?
I would rather be advised. Rant in progress.
Oh, no, it drives me fucking bananas. Cause now at least fucking, like, look at like Municipal Waste and shit like that. Like, they have an intro, but it's like, fuck, alright, this album's gonna rip, not just 2 minutes of fucking,
Yeah.
We'll get there. I'll bitch 1987 too, yeah.
Alright, well, on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank Dr. J for jumping on and giving us, his feedback. And, yeah. Thanks for listening to episode 1 of Vintage Burn. This is Kev saying make sure you listen to Dawkins Under Lock and Key for 1985.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Doug signing out. We should just dock in general. Your call. No pressure.
Jesus Christ. And this is Marco. Halloween kills, suck dick. Have a good night.
Ah, fuck you. Alright, we're not going into this. Triggered warning. Triggered. Alright, guys. Thank you very much. We will, oh, look at that. We got hearts. That's beautiful on the mobile app. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much for listening to us.
Good night.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Dr. J.
Peace.